If you're over 60, there's a hidden danger inside your body right now that most doctors don't talk about. It isn't the fat you see in the mirror or the little bit you can pinch at your waistline. This fat is buried deep in your belly, wrapped tightly around your organs, and scientists call it visceral fat. And here's the shocking truth. Researchers at Harvard Medical School discovered that this type of fat releases over 400 toxic chemicals into your bloodstream every single day. That means it's not just sitting there quietly, it's actively poisoning your body from the inside out. Johns Hopkins researchers have gone so far as to label visceral fat the silent killer, linking it to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and even memory decline. And what startled scientists in Copenhagen is that when seniors finally lose visceral fat, their health markers improve so dramatically that it looks like their bodies have turned back the clock. One study showed that people in their 60s who followed the right approach reduced visceral fat by over 70% in just 30 days. Imagine what that could mean for your energy, your independence, and even the number of years you get to spend with the people you love. This isn't the harmless fat you can grab with your fingers. This is the fat you can't see. The kind that crushes your liver, squeezes your heart, and strangles your pancreas. And yet, here's the part that surprises many people over 60. While visceral fat becomes more dangerous as you age, your body also becomes more responsive to the right triggers that melt it away. In other words, after 60, you may actually have an advantage when it comes to shrinking this toxic fat, if you know the right steps. And that's exactly what we're going to uncover together. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover 5 evidence-based strategies that don't rely on crash diets, endless workouts, or expensive pills. These methods are simple, sustainable, and proven in scientific studies to shrink visceral fat in as little as 30 days. And the number one most powerful strategy? It has nothing to do with what you eat or how much you exercise. But before we dive in, tell us in the comments your age and the city you're watching from. We'd love to know if you're tuning in from places like New York, Toronto, London, Mumbai, or even Singapore. Drop it below. We read every single one. Strategy 5. Protein timing. One of the most overlooked yet powerful methods for shrinking visceral fat after 60 is protein timing. At this stage of life, your body processes protein differently, and that difference can either protect you from belly fat or quietly allow it to build up. The science is clear. Seniors need 25 to 30 grams of protein at every meal to fully trigger muscle protein synthesis, the process that maintains lean muscle tissue. Why does this matter? Because muscle is your body's built-in fat burner. A single pound of muscle uses about 50 calories per day just to stay alive, while a pound of fat burns only about 2. With more muscle, your metabolism runs hotter, burning visceral fat even when you're resting, reading, or napping. A landmark study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition tracked nearly 400 adults over 60 and found that those who spread protein evenly across breakfast, lunch, and dinner lost 23% more visceral fat than those who ate the same amount of protein but saved it for one big meal. Another study from the University of Texas showed that this simple shift boosted resting metabolism by 14%, turning the body into a round-the-clock fat-burning engine. So how do you put this into practice? Start with breakfast. After fasting overnight, your cortisol levels are high, and that hormone encourages belly fat storage. Eating 25 grams of protein within an hour of waking flips that switch off. Try 2 eggs with Greek yogurt or a smoothie made with protein powder and berries. For lunch and dinner, aim for palm-sized portions of fish, chicken, or lean beef. If you prefer plant-based meals, lentils, beans, and quinoa work beautifully together to hit the target. Here's a simple tip. Prep your protein ahead of time. On Sunday, boil eggs, grill chicken, or cook a batch of beans. Keeping ready-to-eat options in the fridge makes it easy to stay consistent. And here's the big mistake to avoid. Many older adults start the day with toast or cereal, have a light salad for lunch, and then try to catch up with a big protein dinner. By then, metabolism has slowed, and the earlier missed opportunities have already encouraged visceral fat storage. Protein hoarded at one meal doesn't have the same impact. It needs to be spread throughout the day. By making protein the centerpiece of every meal, you're not just feeding your muscles. You're setting a steady metabolic rhythm that protects you from visceral fat and keeps your body burning calories like it did years ago. Strategy 4. Temperature manipulation. This next strategy may sound unusual, but it's backed by some of the strongest science: temperature manipulation. To see why it works, let's look at the two types of fat inside your body: white fat and brown fat. White fat is what most people think of as belly fat. It stores energy, and when it accumulates around your organs as visceral fat, it releases harmful chemicals that increase the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and inflammation. Brown fat, on the other hand, behaves like your body's natural furnace. Instead of storing energy, it burns calories to generate heat. The more active your brown fat is, the more efficiently your body uses up visceral fat. A groundbreaking study at MRI University found that adults over 60 who exposed themselves to mild cold temperatures for just 2 hours daily boosted brown fat activity by 45% and reduced visceral fat by nearly 20% in 4 weeks. The protocol was simple. Participants lowered their thermostat to 66 Fahrenheit for 2 hours in the evening while wearing light clothing. That gentle drop in temperature was enough to wake up brown fat and make it burn through visceral fat first. Timing it between 6 and 8 p.m. also synced perfectly with the body's natural cooling rhythm, amplifying the fat-burning effect during sleep. If sitting in a cooler room feels unappealing, there are easy alternatives. One effective option is finishing your shower with 30 seconds of cooler water. Not ice cold, just slightly colder than comfortable. Studies show this activates brown fat for up to 4 hours afterward, turning an everyday routine into a fat-burning boost. There's also a hydration hack. Drinking a glass of cold water every 2 hours forces your body to burn extra calories, warming the water back to body temperature. Japanese researchers found this can add up to 100 extra calories burned per day, with no extra effort. The key to success is gradual adaptation. Start with just 15 minutes in a cooler environment or 10 seconds of a cooler shower, then build up over time. Within 2 weeks, your brown fat becomes more active and efficient, making visceral fat loss noticeably faster. And here's the best part. You don't need ice baths or extreme discomfort. Practical daily tweaks, like lowering your thermostat slightly or ending your shower cool, are enough to unlock this powerful fat-burning mechanism. If this has been helpful so far, hit the like button so more seniors can see it and subscribe. We share new senior health tips every single day, and you don't want to miss what's next. Strategy 3. Time-restricted feeding. Now, let's talk about one of the simplest yet most powerful changes you can make: time-restricted feeding. This is not about counting every calorie or following a complicated diet plan. Instead, it's about when you eat, and research shows that timing your meals can dramatically influence how much visceral fat your body burns. Here's the idea. Instead of spreading meals from early morning until late at night, you compress your eating into an 8 to 10 hour window, like 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. During those hours, you eat your normal meals. But once your window closes, you stop. No late night snacks, no little bites before bed. That simple shift gives your body 14 hours or more each night to rest, reset, and tap into fat stores. Why does this matter so much for seniors over 60? Because when you stop eating for long stretches, 2 important things happen. First, insulin levels drop, and low insulin is the body's green light to start burning stored fat, especially visceral fat, which is metabolically active and easier to burn. Second, your growth hormone spikes during deep sleep, and that hormone's job is to mobilize visceral fat and repair your tissues. But it only works when insulin is low. By closing your eating window early, you create the perfect conditions for fat burning and overnight repair. The Salk Institute studied more than 500 participants aged 60 to 78 who practiced this method. The results were dramatic. Those who followed a 10-hour eating window lost 47% more visceral fat compared to people who ate the same calories but spread them across the entire day. Even better, participants reported higher energy, better sleep, and fewer sugar cravings. So how do you start? Don't jump straight into a 10-hour window. That can be stressful and even backfire. Instead, begin with a 12-hour window. Say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. After 1 week, reduce it by 30 minutes. Do this gradually until you reach your goal of 10 hours. Once you're comfortable there, you can even try 9 hours for an extra boost, but 10 is the sweet spot for most people. Here are a few practical tips. Finish dinner at least 3 hours before bedtime to give your body time to lower insulin before deep sleep. Avoid snacking between meals. Stick to 3 satisfying balanced meals. And don't worry about going hungry during your fasting window. You can drink black coffee, tea, or plain water without breaking your fast. These drinks can actually make fasting easier by slightly raising your metabolism and curbing appetite. Time-restricted feeding isn't about depriving yourself. It's about creating a daily rhythm that allows your body to heal, reset, and specifically target visceral fat. For seniors, it's one of the most natural and sustainable ways to shrink dangerous belly fat while also improving sleep and energy. Strategy 2. Soluble fiber plus prebiotics. The next strategy may surprise you because it doesn't focus on calories or exercise. It focuses on your gut. Scientists at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center studied over 100 seniors and discovered that those who added specific types of soluble fiber and prebiotics to their diets saw dramatic reductions in visceral fat. Here's how it works. Soluble fiber forms a gentle gel in your digestive tract. That gel slows down how quickly sugar enters your bloodstream, which prevents the sharp insulin spikes that drive fat straight to your belly. But that's just the beginning. Soluble fiber also feeds the good bacteria in your gut. In turn, these bacteria produce something called butyrate, a powerful short-chain fatty acid that sends a direct signal to your body to burn visceral fat for energy. Researchers found that people with higher butyrate levels carried up to 50% less visceral fat, regardless of their overall weight. Now let's talk about the power foods that make this possible. At the top of the list is konjac root, also called glucomannan. In clinical trials, just 3 grams taken before meals led to a 12% reduction in visceral fat within 8 weeks. You can find konjac in supplement form or in shirataki noodles at most grocery stores. Another superstar is flaxseed, but it must be fresh ground. Just 2 tablespoons daily reduced visceral fat by 9% in studies while also improving cholesterol and digestion. Don't overlook everyday staples like beans and oats. These provide steady soluble fiber that works in harmony with your metabolism. And then there are the natural prebiotics, foods like Jerusalem artichokes, garlic, and onions. These aren't just flavorful, they selectively feed the gut bacteria that produce the highest levels of butyrate. In fact, seniors who ate just 1 Jerusalem artichoke or 2 cloves of garlic daily saw their fat-burning gut bacteria rise by 27% in just 2 weeks. So how do you put this all into action? Keep it simple and consistent. In the morning, add 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to your smoothie or sprinkle it over yogurt. Before lunch, take a small serving of konjac root with a full glass of water. It will expand in your stomach, reduce appetite, and prime your gut for fat burning. At dinner, add a cup of beans or lentils as a side dish. And whenever possible, flavor your meals with garlic or onions to feed those beneficial bacteria. The benefits go beyond fat loss. Seniors who followed this protocol reported more steady energy, less bloating, and improved digestion. Many also noted that they felt satisfied longer after meals, which naturally reduced snacking and late-night cravings. Soluble fiber plus prebiotics is more than a diet trick. It's a way of reprogramming your gut to become a visceral fat-burning machine. When combined with the strategies we've already covered, this approach creates a powerful foundation for both long-term health and immediate results. Strategy 1. Controlled breathing. Vagus nerve. We've saved the most surprising and powerful method for last. Believe it or not, a simple breathing technique has been shown to outperform diet and exercise when it comes to shrinking visceral fat. Researchers at the University of Copenhagen and Johns Hopkins discovered that activating the vagus nerve through controlled breathing dramatically lowered cortisol, the stress hormone responsible for fat storage, while also triggering the body to mobilize fat for energy. Here's why this matters. After 60, cortisol spikes become more frequent and more damaging. High cortisol doesn't just leave you feeling stressed, it sends a direct signal to store fat, especially in the belly. By calming cortisol, you essentially flip the switch from fat storage to fat burning. The method is called 4-7-8 breathing. You inhale deeply through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 counts. But here's the key detail. Place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Make sure only your belly rises and falls. That diaphragmatic breathing is what stimulates the vagus nerve, creating the fat-burning response. Timing makes this technique even more effective. Do your first 15-minute session in the morning, right after waking. That's when cortisol naturally spikes, and stopping it early sets your metabolism in fat-burning mode for the rest of the day. The second session should be in the afternoon, between 3 and 5 p.m., when cortisol tends to rise again. This prevents the stress-driven fat storage that becomes more common with age. The results were astonishing. In the Copenhagen study, seniors who practiced this twice daily lost 42% more visceral fat than the control group following the same diet and exercise program. They also showed a 23% improvement in insulin sensitivity and a 31% drop in inflammatory markers linked to belly fat. The beauty of this method is its simplicity. No equipment, no diet changes, just a quiet space, a few minutes of focus, and your own breath. For seniors, it's one of the most accessible and effective tools to shrink visceral fat, while also bringing a deep sense of calm and relaxation. At this point, you've learned all 5 strategies: protein timing, temperature manipulation, time-restricted feeding, soluble fiber with prebiotics, and controlled breathing. Each one is powerful on its own, but together they create a transformative approach to shrinking visceral fat and reclaiming your health after 60. Remember, whether you're 60, 70, or even 80, your body is still capable of remarkable change. Age does not close the door on transformation. It can actually open the door to new advantages if you know the right triggers. Now I want to hear from you. Did you notice your weight shifting more to your belly after 60? What's been the biggest surprise about your body as you've aged? Tell us in the comments, whether you're in Chicago, Berlin, Mumbai, or Sydney. We love hearing your stories and learning from this incredible community.